record. Okay, now we're ready.
About Sonic games ranked by difficulty, and I thought to myself, that's a great idea. I should do that with Mega Man. And so, here we are. I'm going to rank every 2D Mega Man platformer and X7 from easiest to most difficult. I say 2D platformers because it would be hard to compare games of other genres, and because I haven't played the Legends games in like a decade now, and I've never played the Battle Network and Star Force titles. So, with that said, I'm just going to go in release order, giving every game a difficulty score from 1 to 5. 1 is the easiest, and 5 is the hardest, and then ordering them at the end. So, without further ado, let's begin. A video like this can be kind of tough to be non-biased about, since some of these games I've played like 1,000 times each, and others I've played only a couple of times, but regardless, I'll try my best to be neutral. Another thing that's tough to work with here is that if you don't use a guide, every player's experience of a Mega Man game will be unique to them. Mega Man 1 begins this trend as you can play the stages in any order. If you happen to pick a stage like Iceman first, you'll be in trouble, because the platforming controls in this game really needed some fine-tuning. However, most people playing these games for the first time now have the ability to look up a lot of the secrets and strategies or have access to endless save states and rewind features and such. Not that I'm factoring that in, I'm just trying to say that if you know what you're doing, the game can be easy to exploit via glitches and boss weaknesses, like the pause glitch. Some levels like Bomb Man and Guts Man can be short and easy, and others like Elec Man offer far more challenge. With this game, there's a couple of spots where the difficulty rises, but for the most part it's pretty manageable compared to other NES platformers. I mean, when I first beat this game, it was on the PS2 version with no save states or anything, so I'm gonna give the game a 3. It has tough parts and can be hard if you don't know what you're doing, but also can be easy to manage if you do.
Do you think it should be a 3?
Um, I think a 3 is reasonable. At points it's super easy, and at points it's super hard. Like, very unbalanced game, so I think it deserves a 3.
Yeah, some stages can be hard, like Elecman, Iceman, maybe Fireman, maybe some of the wily stages, but like you said, if you know what you're doing, it could be easy. So, well, it kind of depends on the skills. Anyways, let's continue.
So it's right in the middle. Mega Man 2 is well known as a tough-as-nails rite of passage NES game, but I don't really see it. Like the first game, it has some parts where the difficulty really spikes. If you play Heatman's level without Item 2, the block section is the hardest in series history. If you play Quickman's stage without the time stopper, it's really difficult, and there are annoying bosses here too, like the Boo Beam Trap, where you need to precisely manage your Crash Bomber ammo to defeat every target. But this game is even more broken than the first game. Almost every weapon is super strong, and the metal blades are some of the most overpowered weapons in any side-scroller. It takes 4 shots to use up 1 energy bar, and pausing the game resets the count, giving you an easy way to have infinite ammo. It shoots in every direction and goes across the whole screen and does great damage to almost everything, making it one of the easiest games in the series if you do that. It's fun to play like this, but the difficulty is not very high when you have it for most of the game. Also, I'd imagine most US players will pick normal mode at first. This was added to the US version of Mega Man 2 and made the game even easier with bosses getting killed faster. Hard mode is the Japanese default and the intended experience. To be fair, this does make some bosses a lot tougher, especially if they aren't weak to the blades, so if you consider the Japanese difficulty, I'm still willing to give the game a 3.
Do you think it should be a 3 or a 2? Because I'm thinking maybe a 2, but I guess 3 is reasonable.
I think maybe a 3 because, well, I mean, there's Purple Hell. That stage is quite literally Purple Hell. That's why it has that name. And then there are also some really easy parts, and the Metal Blade is also overpowered. Once you learn the hard parts, like Quickman's lasers, it's actually easy, and I have fun like doing the Quickman lasers without Flashman's weapon. And even if you are a noob, you could just skip that section with the Flash Stopper. And also, and you could also, um, I, I think that's all I have to say, but yeah, you can also skip the Heatman section with Item 2, as he said. So, you can definitely skip a lot of the hard parts, though I think it might be a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that this game is a good starting point. I mean, that's how I got my introduced to the Mega Man franchise. So, guess that made a good starting point, anyways.
Mega Man 3 was kind of a tough one to give a number to. The game is, for the most part, pretty easy. The game's rush development led to it being really unbalanced, but once more, in the player's favor. The level design is good, but its more challenging set pieces are effortless to cheese when using the Rush Jet or the Rush Marine. You'd have to know where to unlock them first, yes, but once you do, you can trivialize most every platforming section. The bosses are easy to clear with their weaknesses too. So the main campaign doesn't provide much trouble, even compared to the simple first two games. The only part of the game that raises the difficulty are the Doc Robot levels, where the instant kill obstacles are placed all over the stages. They are definitely the hardest part of the game and worthy of a 4 on their own, as in tough, but not the most tough, but the rest of the game is pretty easy, and the final levels give out lives and E-tanks like candy, which is why I think Mega Man 3 can only get a 2. Because it's just as simple and
Yeah, I put it at 3, but
I also put it as 3. Mega Man 3, like, I agree with him that the main part is pretty easy and actually, like, really fun. The main part of the 8 Robot Masters. But the Doc Robot stages were just really unnecessary, honestly. And I think that, the Doc Robots are just, like, really unnecessary filler, and their stages are also just really badly designed and unfair. I just hate the Dog Robot stages, especially with their boss fights, which are also annoying. And the Wily stages, though, are way easier compared to the Dog Robot stages, which is honestly kind of baffling.
yeah, you gotta give some slack though. It had rush development. I've heard one of the stressful Mega Man projects, so through its rush development, I'll cut it some slack. The boss fights, I agree with you, are very unnecessary, especially in Mega Man 2. Also had the boss rush and made them fight twice, like the warm-up master stages and the boss rush. So we fighting the Mega Man 2 warm-up masters here, it just kind of feels unnecessary.
an easy game for most of the runtime, just not thoughtlessly easy. Mega Man 4 is where the NES Mega Man games got a lot more consistent. The games became far less exploitable with glitches and oversights and offered consistently challenging stage designs that ramp up throughout the campaign. Having said that, that doesn't mean it's consistently high challenge, it's just more consistent. So ultimately, it's not going to score any higher than a 3. Mega Man 4 has difficult sections like rocks falling in Drill Man stage or enemies flying out of pits in Cossack 1, but the game is still pretty simple to navigate if you've played the previous games. The charge shot and easy boss weakness kills helps with that too. I said in my review that I liked how 4 was structured, but felt like the last levels in Wily's Castle weren't a sufficient enough difficulty increase to make the 2 castle system worthwhile. So, I'm going to give Mega Man 4 a 3.
Maybe I'll give it a. I didn't think the game was too hard. I mean, there was some, yeah, like you said, there was some annoying stuff like German stage, the fighting rocks part, and the part also the parts where you need to pull the lever to make the platform appear. And I had trouble with Viteman stages because I didn't know how to quite operate with them because they can also kind of go even though you're not under them. But I don't think it was too hard. Maybe like a 2 or 3. But other than that, I think the game
Mm,
deserves a 2 or 3.
I think Mega Man 4 is a 3 or a 4. I think it's definitely one of the more difficult games on the NES. I think it's the most difficult Mega Man game on the NES, but it's still pretty tolerable, and the difficulty is very balanced compared to the first 3. So it has a consistent difficulty that ramps up throughout the entire game. And Ghost Man stage is also pretty unfair, like Drill Man stage, with like the crushing block section, which I honestly think is a bit more annoying than the falling rocks. There's also like a bunch of more hard sections, but they aren't really unfair. So I give it like a 3 or a 4.
Yeah. To be honest, I say the most difficult NES Mega Man game is Mega Man 1. So I want to say 4 because Mega Man 1 deserves the most difficult NES Mega Man game award in my opinion, not 4. But yeah, I did think 4. Now that you said that, I think 4 is yeah, it's a bit challenging. So maybe 2, well actually 3. But yeah, I think it deserves a 3. Anyways, let's continue.
Mega Man 5 has a lot of fun and creative stage designs that put your platforming and timing skills to the test, but it's once more not super ball busting. What makes Mega Man 5 fun is how varied it is, like standing on the bubbles of Wave Man stage or destroying pillars in the Proto Man castle. It's a very standout stage roster, but I also thought it wasn't the most challenging thing in the world, and I don't think a newcomer would either. I'm gonna give it a 2. I wavered between giving it a 3 or a 2. A 3 is a game that either falls in the middle of difficult and easy for lack of balance like 1 and 2, or it just feels really balanced in its difficulty while not being that hard like 4. But 4 is certainly harder than 5, so I went with a 2. Mega Man...
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm kind of going to bed. Okay.
Okay, so
Oh,
I think Mega
anyways,
Man is
continue.
also pretty hard.
Yeah.
Mega Man, I'd agree Mega Man 5 isn't hard, like it's easy. Um, it's, and you also have like a really overpowered charge shot. And throughout the entire game's campaign, it's not like really that hard throughout it. Um, it's actually like really balanced. Maybe not as balanced as 4 sometimes, like in the Wily stages. But it's still a balanced and pretty easy game, so I give it a 2.
Mm, I mean, I don't remember it being too easy. I did struggle on. I do remember struggling on Portman 1 with the disappearing reappearing blocks, and that one part, I forgot which Wily stage, and it's been months since I played Mega Man 5. But I do remember really struggling in certain parts. But it could just be my memory. So I'll give it, I think a 2 is fine.
6 has Plant Man stage, which ends in this perilous platforming section, but that's the only part of this game that sticks out in my mind as really challenging. Part of what I like about 6 is just how well telegraphed most of the obstacles are, like showing you these tiles mean there's a drop by dropping you into a safe area. Later on, they can use that as a deadly obstacle since you know the rules already. So theoretically, if you have a flow with Mega Man gameplay, you can get through many sections with ease. Not always, but a lot of the time. So because of everything being so well telegraphed, I thought that's why the game was worthy of a 3. It's a fair game.
I think this one is the best Mega Man NES game in my opinion. It's very
Yes.
stylish, very vibrant, and I think the art style they really knocked out of the park for this one. Even the music is like almost extremely catchy, especially the Fortress musics in the Wily boss battle music. I think it's the best Mega Man NES game, if not one of the best Mega Man games.
I completely agree with you, and I think it's probably like a top 10 Mega Man game, honestly. Like, the best Mega Man game on the NES, probably the best classic Mega Man game ever. Um, it's like a really great game, and definitely shows how great they got at making these games. And then, like, this game is kind of impressive for like an NES game by how many secrets there are in the game. And this game also came out like in the same year as X. So that's pretty cool. I give this game like a 3 in difficulty. It's pretty balanced.
Yeah, maybe a bit too easy, but um, well, I don't say too easy. I mean, yeah, I do agree. Some parts are kind of balanced. It's also been a while since I played Mega Man 6. I mean, I have did it in my recent playthrough. There, yeah, I think I should play Mega Man 6 sometimes. Kind of do want to play the NES version just to get that retro feel to it. There's also some cool ideas like the jetpack and like the power Mega Man shoot rush thing or whatever. But I think it was better at Mega Man 7 because they fused together.
I swear, these
And also, I just want to say, I think Mega Man 6 is a bit, I want to say overhated because, I mean, I've heard mixed reviews. Some people like this game or love this game, and some people hate this game. And to be honest, I think I like this game. I like this game. I don't see what's wrong with it.
scores aren't because I'm some based Mega Man player. I just think, as I've always said, that these NES Mega Man games just aren't as tough as I often hear them described. I just think they're either broken in your favor like the first 3 or balanced well like the second 3. So they mostly got 3s across the board, when there are other NES platformers that I just think are impossibly challenging. Mega Man X is where things get more complicated. As I've said a million times, I've played X1, X2, X3, and X4 maybe 1,000 times each, so I think all of these games are super easy and could probably play them in my sleep. But Mega Man X can be tough if you don't know what you're doing. However, I'm still going to give X1 a 3, because the level design can be a bit simple and linear, and the bosses almost all have Spark Mandrill syndrome where they get utterly stun-locked by their weaknesses, outright ensuring your victory before the fight even begins if you have the right weapon. It has challenging final levels and a difficult final boss in your first several playthroughs, so for that reason I think it's worthy of a 3, a game that's fair and balanced but can be easy to play through. Mega Man X.
I think I agree. Mega Man
I
X1 is
agree
definitely
too.
a very good opening Mega Man game. Um, I think it's pretty well balanced also and pretty fair. There are some parts like Boss Spider and Sigma's Final Form, but Sigma's Final Form is a pretty good final boss if you ask me.
I think this game is amazing and still stands the test of time, unlike Mega Man 2, which like I think is really overglazed. I think I give Mega Man X 3 in difficulty because it's like one of the most balanced Mega Man games of all time. Maybe one of the most balanced, well, not one of the most balanced video games. It definitely has some really hard parts, like the final boss, like the final form of Sigma. I had to drink like all four of my sub tanks just to beat him when I was younger. I
Yeah,
think this game, with those three, it's pretty fair in difficulty and great.
yeah. I think to be honest, I think Boss Spider and Sigma, this final form of Sigma, is the only hard bosses in the game. But other than that, I think it's pretty fair. And also, if you think, I think Sigma's Final Form and Wily Capsule 7 are equal in difficulty.
X2 is a step up in the difficulty for sure. This game is very fair in that attacks from enemies and bosses and obstacles are easy to read and understand, but it just asks a lot more of players than X1 did. You need to be able to use the dash and wall jump to move through challenging obstacles far more. And while it's all fair, it's just more difficult than X1. It certainly took me longer to master X2 than X1, so X2 is actually going to be the first 4 on the list. Which I think is the ideal score, a game that's hard but readable. Takes a little elbow grease to get good at.
Do you think it's the Sister 4?
Yeah, I think it's a 4. Um, I see. Yeah, this game is definitely a 4. It can be. It's like the hardest. It's very hard, but it's pretty hard to get all the armor pieces and like 100% the game and like get all of that. Way harder than the first game. And also, like, you have to have played the first game to even be kind of good at Mega Man X2. So, I think Mega Man X2 is, pretty solid. I really, love the game. It's, like, second favorite, well, top 5 Mega Man games of all time. And, I give it a 4 as well. I agree with him a lot here.
Yeah. In my opinion, Mega Man X2 is, I feel it's improvements over X1. The downgrades though may have, but you know what, too, when I was on have a, looking back now, I don't really have a problem with X2's soundtrack. I think it's pretty catchy. The weapons though, I think they try to do something a little bit different. Like instead of being useful, like maybe X1's weapons, like shotgun knives or Kato, Boomerang Kato, whatever. I think they try to use it for like. I think these weapons here are extremely useful, like trying to get to secrets. But yeah, I think it's also great. I did get all of the armor upgrades though, but and all the sub tanks. It's just getting all the hard tanks. I think it increased the amount. Like I think Mega X1 had like 7 hard tanks, and Mega X2 has 8 in onward from these games. So yeah, I had to skip out over on the Overdrive Ostrich hard tank. I might get it in the future when I try to like get all the achievements in the Mega X Legacy Collection. But yeah, it's kind of very satisfying and rewarding to get good at too.
Returning to the classic series, you have Mega Man 7. I like how the difficulty is done in this game, giving you 4 easier levels before giving you the other 4 tougher stages. But I'm going to give this game a 3 as well. By the time you get to the harder levels, you're more accustomed to the game, probably have the super adapter, so you'll be in good hands by this point. The final levels are also a reasonable challenge. The final boss is a bit of a difficulty spike, but I think it's approachable if you know how to aim the spring weapon properly. Mega Man X3.
Do you think it deserves a 3?
I think it deserves a 4, or maybe even a 5. Mega Man 7 is pretty hard. Doesn't take away my enjoyment from it, like, Mega Man 7 is amazing, but like, it's kind of, like, really hard. I would really recommend it for newcomers, but, like, if you really, like, get into Mega Man a little bit, then, Mega Man 7's definitely, like, pretty, like, um, easy game for, like, experienced player. I'm a pretty experienced player, but Mega Man 7 sometimes, kicks me hard. Like with Wily Stage 3, which is one of the most, which, despite having incredible music, is one of the hardest stages in the entire Mega Man series.
I don't remember it being that hard, but also did play Mega Man 7 a few months ago, so I think it may do need a replay. And yeah, I do remember the Wily Capsule 7, probably one of the most infamous Mega Man bosses. Also, this game has the longest, one of, if not one of the longest Wily
Oh,
Fortress battles, the total.
be right back. I have to eat dinner right now.
Alright, bye.
Um,
Alright. So my man is going to go eat dinner, and I'm also going to give me some food. My gosh, give me some snackies and some milk. B.O.B.
so is
So
this
back
going to be
to
part 2 or part of the same video?
yeah, okay. So what I want to say about Mega Man X3, wait, not X3, 7. I want to say it's a 4 or 5. I mean, to be honest, bosses can be easily dealt with weaknesses, and the what about master levels themselves? Besides Turbo Man, aren't really that challenging.
Despite being one of my favorite 2D games ever, therefore being a game I could play any day of the week, it's not very forgiving.
Okay,
What's
so,
interesting about X3 is that I think its level design and challenges are simpler than X2's.
um,
The levels can get pretty flat and you don't need as many
Yeah.
uh, you want to continue reacting to it now?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mega Man X specific skills to get through it, but the game compensated by upping the damage values on everything. X3 is a hard game to do out of weakness order because the bosses can destroy you in 2 hits or so with a default health bar. The patterns of the bosses are easy to avoid when you know what they are, but the limited animation makes them hard to anticipate and the high damage values will really mess with you. Plus, many secrets in X3 are pretty obtuse and feature some obnoxious sections at the end. So I've got no choice but to give this game the first 5 on the list. It's definitely the hardest game thus far.
Do you think Mega Man X3 deserves a 5?
I think Mega Man X3 deserves a, 4, because while Mega Man X3 is difficult, if you, like, play it over and over again, eventually, like, you'll just get, like, in the flow of it, and, like, I still think the game is pretty hard and deserves, like, a 4, but it's not really, it doesn't really deserve a 5, because, like, it's nowhere near the level of difficulty as some other Mega Man games that deserve a 5.
Hmm. Or if you're just good at Mega Man 3 in general, you could go through it no problem.
Before moving on to the PS1 era, I
For
figured I'd mention the
X3,
classic and
and
X game.
just like getting used to all the levels and the stage design makes it easy, honestly.
Yeah, if you know the layout, it should be easy. But a newcomer to the game like me find it extremely challenging. So it may take you a few tries to fully get good at the game.
Yeah,
On Game
definitely.
Alright, now we got the Memory Award series.
Boy and other handhelds. I only played the Game Boy Mega Man games once, but I honestly don't remember them that well, even though that was like a few months ago. So I rewatched my video on them so I could say the following. I feel like the controls and physics of the early ones made it more difficult than it would have been if it was on console, but then Dr. Wily's Revenge had sparse checkpoints and instant kill obstacles, so it can get a 4. 2 was super easy.
Do you think Dr. Ice Revenge deserves a 4?
I think it deserves a 5. Dr. Wily's Revenge deserves like a 5, honestly.
I mean, I don't think it's too hard. I mean, to be honest, bosses are very easy in this game, so maybe that it makes it a bit easier. I see, yeah, definitely the levels themselves are definitely harder than the bosses with weaknesses, really. Being Pacific, and Anchor's pretty easy, or pretty simple in this game too. But yeah, I think, now, whatever.
Though. The Metal Blades broke the game, so I'm going to make it the first
Yeah.
one on the list. I got
Mega
through this
Man
game like
World
it was
1, I think, just has some really crazy level design in it. Definitely gives it a 5, but maybe at the lower end of the 5, not really one of the hardest Mega Man games of all time, but it's like really hard. And like the level design can be pretty unfair, but not as unfair as like Mega Man World 3.
Yeah, Mega Man 2 though is probably the easiest Mega Man game. Or what? Okay, hold up. One of, if not the easiest Mega Man game in the entire franchise. To be honest, I say this is a bit worse than the NES version of Mega Man 2. I think this game, well, it also has some weak points like the high pitched tone and the weirdly easy quint fight. But it has cool ideas on paper though. Just, I think a newcomer would like this game. Maybe I think this game would be a good to a newcomer as well.
Yeah, it would be pretty boring though, to be honest, for me. Um, and yeah, just like uh, uh, I mean, it's easy, but like the easiness takes away from the engagement that I feel with the game. Um, I definitely give it a 1 in difficulty. Like, the Metal Blade is 100 times more powerful than Mega Man 2 somehow.
Yeah. I can see how it's definitely boring though. I mean, to be honest, I kind of felt some boringness while playing. While my we attend up me playing it. I didn't. I didn't find much entertainment in it either. So yeah, definitely a one. One of if not the easiest Pac-Man game.
nothing. 3 is going to get a 4, because while most of the game is pretty simple, the second set of 4 levels you unlock was a huge difficulty spike. I spent like 22 minutes on Dustman's level in this game. It just expected the most out of you of any of these games in these 4 levels, so 4.
Mega Man World 3 definitely going in 5, or even a 6 if that was a real tier. Um,
Yeah, definitely a word. I think this game's going for no heck 5. Yeah, the second half is definitely like one of. To be honest, the only easy levels I find in this game is Saddle Man and Squallman stages. But other than that, every single stage in this game is like almost overwhelming in some way. And the second half is like one of the worst Mega levels, especially Dust and Diamond stage.
yeah. That's Mega Man World 3 is horrible. Like, it is one of the worst stages I've probably ever seen in a 2D platformer.
World and Diamond stage also is definitely like the definition of unfair. Like, bro, there are so many spikes. Heck, even the NES version had better design. It did have some spikes, but not like all over the level.
Yeah, there's like literal spikes everywhere. And then Snake Man stage is also just really horrible because like there's so many enemies being thrown at you and there's so little checkpoints.
Spogman, there's also this one part you had to make like a picture perfect jump where there was a falling block or whatever. So I kicked my butt, but other than that, I didn't find Spogman's never that hard, besides the picture perfect jumps. But yeah, there's some. Yeah, this game is overwhelming and pretty unfun.
The fourth one was a lot more balanced. Its charge shot kind
Yeah.
of trivialized enemies, but it wasn't super easy or anything, so this one can get a 3.
Mega
I
Man
think
World 4. Do you want to keep talking about Mega Man World 3 or move on to Mega Man World 4?
World 4, I think we said enough about World 3.
Yes. World 4, I give like a 3 in difficulty. It's pretty balanced, although there are some hard parts like Crystal Man stage, but other than the hard parts, it can be relatively easy and enjoyable.
Yeah, this game is an absolute glow up and such an improvement from the first three games. Very balanced. To be honest, the only levels in this game that's kind of stand out as hard as maybe Chargeman Stage and Ebony Crystal Man Stage, and maybe the Wily space, the space, um, the spaceship level. But other than that, it's pretty balanced.
And then the fifth one can also get a 3. There's only so much a fair and balanced Game Boy game can do. I appreciated its originality, and it took me the longest to beat this one because of said originality, but it wasn't as annoying as
Oh,
3 got.
yeah,
So that's why it got that score.
yeah. World 5, I also give a 3, maybe even like a 4 for Mega Man World 5. Because it's pretty balanced in difficulty, although it can be like really hard at times. Maybe even some unfair jumps from time to time. But to be honest, that's pretty much every Mega Man game has at least like one unfair spike pit.
Yeah, but it had it also does have like it does have picture perfect jumps, but like one or two in like Venus's stage, I believe. But other than that, it even like I think it was like one or two picture perfect jumps in that level. It to be honest, it wasn't really that hard. I find Dark Moon to be really balanced and to be honest, a pretty cool boss. But in this game overall, is pretty good.
Yeah,
Definitely improvement.
sure is.
And then Mega Man and Base 2 for the Wonder
Mega
Swan
Man
was
8. I think I give Mega Man 8 like 4 in difficulty, because like could be like the jump slide sections especially are just like, especially the one in Miley Stage 1, are horrible and really bad, and they're infamous for a reason. There's
the
also some other unfair parts like Clown Man stage, but there's also some really easy parts and it could be pretty forgiving, although there's no E-Tanks and no rush coil.
but there still was abilities though. Um, I found that this game also has interesting ideas like Tangleman's bubble section and the worst abilities giving you during mini bosses and like having a second permanent checkpoint because the levels are like the levels are kind of long, but like not like super long, not like maze long though. So and to be honest, I didn't. Well, I guess the falling the block like when they hit the bell in the background and you fall through, you might end up where you not want to. But I'm not, I think Clownman stage is sip on paper. You can even get an extra life at the start. Alright, now
Yeah.
yeah, now I got Mega Man Base Challenger from the future.
really in one ear and out the other. It had
Hey,
some interesting
what
parts, but the
about Mega
challenge.
Man and Base first? Mega Man and Base is like a 5 in difficulty probably. I mean, it's like it's a good game, but like in other parts it can be really horrible, like Burner Man stage and Pyro Man stage and Dynamo Man stage, and Magic Man stage. Okay, there's some pretty terrible stages, but where it's good, it's really good, and I honestly think that like it it's unbalanced, but I still kind of enjoy the game for what it is.
Yeah,
5.
yeah, Mega Man Base definitely goes in 5. I mean, to be honest, I don't. Furthest I can get what was to be Cold Man stage. I think Astro stage was a decent challenge. There's even a trick to his boss fight, but like Burning Man stage, extremely almost unfair. And to be honest, Power Man stage, I just don't feel like it's beatable without Burning Man's weapon.
wasn't one of them. So, 1.
Do you think Mega Man Base Challenger from the future deserves a one?
Um, Challenger from the future. Challenger from the future is probably like a 2 in difficulty. I don't know. I haven't played it in a while, but it's pretty easy.
Hmm. Okay, now we got Mega Man Extreme.
The X series also had handheld games too, only Mega Man Extreme and Extreme 2.
Extreme.
I'm gonna give the first Extreme a 1
Okay,
because it's all
extreme.
recycled content.
Probably a 3 difficulty alongside extreme 2. They're both kind of easy, but also really hard, especially like with extreme 2. Um, I would recommend not playing as Zero in Extreme 2 because Zero is terrible in Extreme 2 and his hitbox and his saber hitbox is very tiny and annoying.
Hmm. What about Extreme One though? I mean, to be honest, the furthest I got was like to Surge, which I on normal mode I think is harder because you don't have his weakness, the Sonic Slicer. I got to his first phase, but his second phase, his little pellets or whatever that go in every pattern when it like splits into pieces, is kind of hard to dodge.
Hmm. Yeah.
And to be honest, I find Boss Spider and Extreme One to be a bit harder. I don't know what it is, but like he or she has like a bit more sharp patterns.
From X1 and X2, only it feels much easier
Um,
and is another game that you can glide through without much effort or
yeah.
hassle.
Extreme, probably a 2 or a 3. Pretty easy for the most part. Um, Definitely a baby's first Mega Man game for the most part. Like, for the most part, that is.
Yeah. To be honest, the Robot Master stages weren't that hard, to be honest. I did struggle with Zane, but once I figured out his pattern, he was kind of easy.
Extreme 2 has more original parts, but then the upgrade system in this game decimates enemies and
Oh,
bosses. So that
um, Mega Man 9. I think Mega Man 9 is a sweet, sweet 4 in terms of difficulty for me, since I played that game like hundreds of times. For first timer, it would definitely be a 5. Like, it's extremely hard when you're a first timer, but like after like getting used to the game and playing it over and over again, I think that Mega Man 9 is just easy to me. However, there are some really hard sections, unfair sections even, like the pixel perfect part in Wily Stage 2, so I think a 4 is a good rating.
Yeah, I definitely struggled on that one mini boss where like there's a circle thing that there's a circle thing that goes in circles and you have to shoot like a certain flower that pops off from the ground and there's spikes below you. I was just trying to damage boost this circle thing. And at Extreme 2, I have not played it yet. Extreme 1, I'm gonna try and beat it, but if I can't, maybe I'll jump to Extreme 2. But I guess we'll see.
would be worthy of a 1, but it does have some challenging bosses like the Sphinx tank, so I'll go ahead and give it a 2. Now back to the
Yeah.
consoles.
And I will say
So,
about the Extreme series, I think the Extreme 1 has pretty decent music.
hmm, yeah, I mean, it does. It has pretty decent music for a Game Boy Color. Uh, Next game, of course, is Mega Man, and I think Mega Man 10 is like a 3 or like 4 difficulty. It could be really hard, but also pretty easy at times. Bit easier than Mega Man 9. Just a bit easier than Mega Man 9.
Also, I think it has improvements over Mega Man 9, like the improved soundtrack. Even though it does have worse weapons, though, I think it's still a pretty good Mega Man game overall.
Mega Man 9 has one of the best soundtracks in the entire series. Um, the Mega Man 10 also is an amazing soundtrack. Um, no, I think Mega Man 10 before like Mega Man 9. It's balance. And then um after 8 years, Capcom came out with Mega Man 11. These 8 years.
Yeah, well.
Um,
Hold on,
Seven.
before we move on to Mega Man 11, I just want to see what
Mega
you.
Man 8 is kind of like 5, where I wasn't sure if I was going to give it a 3 or a 2. Like Mega Man 5, 8 has a lot of variety and interesting levels. I think the usage of special weapons in the stages are some of the best in the series, like how so many sections in the back half require weapon use to solve puzzles or progress. There's a lot I admire about 8, but when doing the regular platforming, it is on the easy side. The only difficulty increase in this game are the snowboard sections in the final boss, since Mega Man 8 does not have E-tanks in it. So the stakes are upped when doing the boss rush and the final boss in one go. But 3 sections doesn't really change the fact that most of the game is simple, albeit quite fun to play, so I think I'm going to stick with my rating of a 2.
So
Mm,
um, what do you think? I'm going to give a quick rating for Mega Man 11. I think it's like a 2 or 3. Mega Man 11 is pretty easy. Uh,
I
It's like
think it's I kind of disagree. I think it's a bit challenging, especially Blockman's chasing parts and the knockback can get in the way, especially that one platforming part in Blockman stage, and also the Yellow Devil makes his return and the falling gears in Wily stage one can be challenging. So I wouldn't say like really easy, but like it has challenging parts. But I kind of don't remember much about Mega Man 11.
yeah. So um, I um and um, I think that's all to say about the difficulty of Mega Man games or that you've played. Um, Mega Man, yeah, I think Mega Man 11 is pretty hard parts, but overall it can be pretty easy in normal mode. Um, I played normal mode. The other difficulties are obviously like change up the game, so I'm not counting the other difficulties honestly.
Okay. Alright, let's continue.
Part of why I gave it a 2 was that I was considering giving that score to Mega Man X4, but this game is definitely harder than Mega Man 8. Like X2, X4 requires
Um,
fast thinking in sections like Magma Dragoon stage where magma rocks are
Earlier
falling over
that
a
you'd
bottomless
like me
pit.
to react to one of your videos.
Yeah,
Let me find a good one. Like a review.
yeah. You can pick whichever you want, though. I won't rush you. Do you agree that the Mega Man X4 is harder than Mega Man 8?
Hmm, Mega Man 4 harder than Mega Man 8.
No, I said, do you think Mega Man X4 is harder than Mega Man 8?
Oh no, Mega Man X4 is like one of the easiest in the franchise. I'm like one of X4's biggest fans, and I can't deny that it's pretty easy, especially for the Mega Man game.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's pretty easy. To be honest, I found more enjoyment from X4 than I did with X3, but I managed, I gotten further, I think, with X4, but I did get a few game overs, but still then I was able to proceed.
or needing to dash and wall jump with precise timing to get the best rankings in Cyber Peacock stage. It's definitely not the hardest the X series gets. X2 was harder, especially with the boss fights, as X4s are easier to do without weakness weapons and even easier with them.
Yeah,
And its final
I love
stages are not.
X4. It's like my favorite Mega Man game, as I've said multiple times. I
Yeah,
definitely think it deserves to be.
yeah,
Hey, what's up? Today I'm gonna do a Mega Man 2 review for the NES. So starting off, this I believe this is also the first Mega game to have an intro cutscene. No, maybe one did not have one, but it's the first. So got some snack. Weapon Masters. This is the first game to have 8 Robot Masters. One only had 6, but Mega Man 2 brought 8, and that would be the normal tradition for every Mega Man game. Anyways, Robot Masters. Honestly, I don't think this. Besides Quickman and Heatman, they are not that hard at all. Airman can be challenging with the tough jumps, but honestly, if you do the trick with the time stopper, it shouldn't be a problem. And maybe at the end too with the annoying bird enemy, that might give you troublesome. But if you honestly, they really gave me that much problem. Also, the themes here are kind of catchy. Mm, I want to say maybe the best that I am unchecking. Anyways, the music is pretty catchy. I'll say the weapons are mostly better than one for the NES. I need to play Remember one for the NES. I want to play the NES version rather than the Legacy Collection. Same with 5 and 6. Okay, bosses themselves. They honestly what you should expect from a normal Mega Man, easier with the weaknesses. But you can also go bust the only Flashman in the essence is you should start with him. If you know, you know. If you don't, then oh well. Honestly, Quick might be the hardest to bust the only, but maybe Woodman. I'm not sure. I haven't tried bust only with them yet. Actually, I have a bit with Quickman, but I used the time stop on him or Elite him. But still, honestly, He-Man. Okay, so he was what Quickman and He-Man might be the hardest stages. He-Man isn't really a problem if you have item 20 or the Crash Bomber. I mean, if you don't have the Crash Bomber, it's okay, but you might have to wait for disappearing reappearing blocks. But it's not a problem. But without item 2, I haven't participated in the disappearing reappearing block at the end. But honestly, if you have item 2, you could just completely skip it.
Yeah, item 2, um, yeah, item 2 definitely kind of makes the game, it, you can, like, skip a lot of annoying sections, like Heatman stage, so item 2 definitely, like, makes the game a bit better, because you can skip Heatman's block section.
No problem. And then He-Man himself is honestly not that hard. I mean, I've destroyed him with his weakness, the Bubble Lad from Bubble Man, and then Quickman. I go with him second. So here is my recommended weakness order for Mega Man 2: Flashman, Quickman, Metalman, Woodman, Airman, Crashman, Bubble Man, and Heatman. Yeah, okay. So okay, and then the Wily stages. Honestly, if you get one more to them, they shouldn't be too bad. Wily stage 1, it's fairly easy, but there might be a challenging part with the Mecha Dragon or the one with item one. The part with item 1. Honestly, you should if you're a fan of Mega Man 1, play Mega Man 2, and beat it multiple times. You should get to the part first try like I did a few times. Speaking of the quick bandages, honestly, if you know how to get past them first try, like I did on my replay, I say all the Wombat Master stages are fairly simple. I mean, it's recommend that would be kind of be my recommended by me. Anyways, then why the stage two? This stage is what's the name? Okay, yeah, there's a part where you have to use item two. You can go to whether regards of crash bomb or the part that gives you goodies. It gives you almost more than enough health supplies, energy supplies, and lives. So you should get the manager without a problem, unless if it's your first time playing or whatever. Then Wild Stage 3, aka the easiest Wild Castle in my opinion. The level itself isn't too bad. There's a spike section, and there's also an extra life and an E tank at the start. Yeah. And then the guts tank isn't too bad. You just have to wait for it a bit to get on the screen a bit. And its weakness is the quick boomerang. So is the Mega Dragon, and the second Whitey boss is you can use the Bubble Lead or the Metal Blade. The Bubble Lead it can't completely kill it one hit, but if you hit it, like let's say with the Bubble Lead, it'll disappear and then reform somewhere else. Then Rider Stage 4 is the hardest in my opinion because of its terrible boom beam trap design boss and the level isn't too bad compared to the boss. The boss it can the only damage is you crash bomber, and if you wish one shot, you can't win. So hope you have enough. You have to be like a full crash bomb to be at the boss first. But there's sniper jars outside. If you just farm for energy captures for the crash bomb, you should be good. Or if you have like four or three or any energy tank or E tank, it shouldn't be a problem. Then Castle 5 is the boss rush and Riley. The boss rush, even though this game you know, all the bosses here are fairly simple. I just want to defend the boss rush here for a second. I've seen some people say it's not likable, they don't like it, and we use this recycled content, and they say you have to look at this and don't see the point. But I think what you usually want to put there is because they wanted to test your skills. But honestly, you should be happy because unlike Meme 1, you have health items and have a break in between and choose which one you want to go through. Unlike Meme 1. So it's not too bad. And then Water itself is honestly you can. There's also two sections in the US version, two difficulties modes, normal and difficult. In one A machine two, the first phase, in normal you can almost one shot it with a 40 charge atomic fire. But in difficulty it takes two shots to completely. You can two shot the. It takes 40 charge atomic fire shots to defeat phase one. Phase two is a bit harder because it's hard to dodge its bouncing balls or whatever. But I recommend using the Metal Blade or the Quick Boomerang. And then would you think Vitamin Machine 2 would be the final boss, but no, it's actually Alien. Alien is the final boss, can only be damaged using the Bubble Lead. So if you have the Bubble Lead, you're considering the game. There's no enemies to farm outside there. And then, even when you should know, you beat the game, body gives up, and the credits. And a fun fact: this was originally planned to be the last Mega game, but considering we got like a handful, a whole mess of Mega games, but like, I mean not a mess, but still a whole ton of Mega games, a flood, a whole tsunami. anyways, that was my review of Mega Man 2. Let me cue this really quick. I'll still give it an A. Alright, Mega Man 2, moving into an A. That, hold on, switched. I think this is okay. Yeah, this is okay. It's making cue. I'm gonna put my 3 for the NES just to make sure my review is straight, is for sure. So yeah, hope y'all like my Amendment 2 review. I'll give it here, either an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10.
Alright. That was a cool review. I'd also agree it's like an 8 out of 10. It's a game.
Hi, thanks. So, wait, hold on. Do you want to continue watching the rating the difficulty of memory games again?
Um, mm, nah. It's okay. We don't have to finish it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, maybe finish it tomorrow, maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
Hi.
Uh, do you want to call?
You know what? Yeah, I caught it. I think I think that's good. Alright, so make sure, hope you had a good video today. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss when I upload. Also, check out my boy the indomizer. Hit the subscribe to this channel, subscribe, and leave a like on his channel in his videos. See you on the next one. Indomizer, want to say anything before I cut this video? Okay, I guess that's a no. um, good. Hope you had a good video today. Um, I am getting for the maybe next forward though. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna. What am I gonna do tab when outside in the tab anyway? I'll give this game a B. I'll give this game a B. So hope you had a good video. See you on this one. Peace.